Donald Trump leads by 2.6 percentage points in the national aggregate. And as of today, we have new polling data from New York Times/Siena College, which is our most rated A pollster here at On Point Politics, because not only do they ask voters who they voted for now, they're also going to ask voters who they voted for in the 2020 presidential election. And you can compare for a sample going back to adjust for a potential polling error. So today, we're going to be breaking down their demographic margins and seeing where that actually puts the Electoral College map as of right now. Welcome back to On Point Politics. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. And so essentially what they do is they essentially poll everybody based on who they vote for right now, and I broke it down by the demographic margins that they have. They also poll back to 2020 to ask those same voters who they voted for last time, and we also have those margins here as well. And what ends up happening is I go back to the 2020 margin exit polls from the New York Times, and I essentially find the adjusted error for all these categories and plug them in over here. And what I do is I go to 538 and I plug them in all here. Now what you're going to notice is that if you plug them in, it gives you a perfect electoral map for Donald Trump, and he wins the popular vote by like almost 50 points. So obviously this is not going to happen, but what I did do is I actually did an electoral map for every single group. So I filled out the age demographic, I created an electoral map based off of that, education, sex, and race. So I did 4 of them, and essentially I average out all of the results, and I essentially have all of them on the right side of the screen here. And we're going to be comparing these margins to what my actual basically model actually has. And so right now, these safe Republican states are going to be the ones that I list out here. All these states are going to be crazy big margins for the former president as of right now. For example, the state of Utah would be a 32-point win for the former president here in this scenario. And if we keep looking, for example, the state of Kansas is a 26-point victory for him. Kentucky, 37-point victory for Donald Trump. These are crazy wins. We also see Nebraska's first and the at-large vote go. We also see Maine second be a safe Republican district at just 20 points for Donald Trump. That's absolutely insane. And Alaska is a 21-point victory. There's actually polling that suggests it could go for Donald Trump by 24 percentage points. And now, here we're going to go to the fun part. We see the state of Iowa at 19 points for Donald Trump, which is very interesting because in the state of Iowa, the most accurate pollster in the nation, Ann Seltzer, has the state at plus 18 for the former president as of right now. They actually predicted a plus 7 victory for Donald Trump in 2020, and that was right before the election. Donald Trump ended up winning that by 8.2%. So they are the most accurate pollster in the nation. Unfortunately, they only do polling for Iowa. I would love to see their polling data for other states. I think it would be very interesting to see. Oregon would be around a 20-point victory for Donald Trump. Texas at 19 points for the former president, and Florida at just 16 points for Donald Trump, giving him 219 safe Electoral College votes as of right now. As for Biden, we have California at 16 points for Donald Trump, Hawaii at 19 points for the former president, DC at 69 points for the incumbent president. Nice. And then we also can see the states of Maryland at 19 points for Biden, and Massachusetts at around 21 points. So those fill in, and Vermont is only a mere 25-point victory for Donald Trump on this map, or Joe Biden on this map, which just gives Biden 85 safe Electoral College votes as of right now. And for the likely Republican states, we have North Carolina at 14.2 percentage points, Wisconsin at 10.7, we have Pennsylvania at 10.8, so Pennsylvania votes to the right of Wisconsin by just a tiny bit. Nevada is a 9.8 percentage point victory, Michigan at 9 points, Georgia is a 13.9 percentage point victory. Arizona is 11.6 percentage points in this scenario. And if we go to Nebraska second, that is a 8.9 percentage point victory for the incumbent, for the former president as of right now, getting him to 313 Electoral College votes. We see the state of Washington at around 8 points for Biden, Oregon at just above 5 points. It's actually a 5.1 percentage point victory in this scenario. We go to states like Connecticut. They're going to be filled in the likely column. We see that at 7.8% for Biden. Delaware at only 6 points for Biden, believe it or not. That is crazy. And we see in the state of Rhode Island, just 8.8% for Biden. And in the state of New York, 10 points for Biden in this electoral college scenario, getting Biden to 147 electoral college votes. We see here that in the state of New Mexico, Donald Trump wins that by 2.2 percentage points. He's winning Virginia by 3.3% as of right now. In the state of New Hampshire, Donald Trump leads by 3.7 percentage points. He leads by 4.3 in Minnesota. And in Maine at large, he leads by 1.2 percentage points, which gives him 347 electoral college votes as of right now. And looking here, we see the lean Democrat states are 4.1 percentage points for Joe Biden. We see New Jersey at just 2.8 percentage points for Biden. And Maine's first congressional district is a 4.7 percentage point win for Joe Biden. So this district gets down to a lean Democrat margin. That is absolutely insane. And I have left one state on the map open, and it's the state of Colorado. And guys, this demographic forecast, cross-examining all of the New York Times / Siena College polling data, looking at the adjusted error, comparing back to the 2020 sample, finding the new margin, Biden is winning Colorado by 0.9 percentage points. According to this poll, Donald Trump has a realistic shot at flipping the state of Colorado on this electoral college map. Just to give you guys an idea of this, right? We see Donald Trump leads the survey by 7 points. So he's ahead here by 7 percentage points as of right now. If we look at 2020, we see Biden leads by 5. Biden leads by 5. So the polls only overestimated Biden by 0.5%. So if you apply that to this, Trump leads the popular vote when you apply that adjusted error by 7.5 points, which would make sense because states like Colorado are competitive. If Donald Trump's winning the state of, Virginia by 3.3, it would make sense for him to be able to, end up going out there and winning the popular vote by 7.5. If he was winning the popular vote by 7.5, him winning Pennsylvania by this amount makes sense because Pennsylvania is trending to the right, voted basically 2 points to the right of the nation last time. It would make sense for it to vote 3 points to the right of the nation. So if he's winning the popular vote by 7.5, it would make sense for Pennsylvania to vote Republican like that. New Mexico would even make sense because the state of New Mexico, this state is a right trending state. If you look at the race breakdown of this, Donald Trump actually wins New Mexico by 8.5%. And even looking at the Colorado numbers, it's really interesting because Donald Trump actually wins the state of Colorado in the age breakdown. He actually wins it by 2 points when you break it down that way. And I'm going to go over the exact margins. Biden would win 18 to 29-year-old voters by 2 points. Trump wins 30 to 44-year-old voters by 10, 45 to 64 by just 15 points, and 65 plus by 8 percentage points, which would make sense because Trump won them by 5 last time, according to New York Times / Siena College. And since Biden's more unpopular, Donald Trump's gaining in polling, it would make sense for Trump to improve with that group. And you see him improving with all demographics as of right now. And the biggest shift towards him is actually young voters, believe it or not, which is quite interesting. And we see non-college educated voters or non-college voters vote for Trump by 11. They literally voted for him by 2 points, according to the New York Times / Siena College exit polls. College educated voters voting for Biden by 12. Now, he's only winning that group by 1. He's only winning that group by 1 percentage point now. If you look at men, last time Trump won them by 8. Now he's up 19 points with those voters. And if you look at women, Biden won that group by 15. Now he's only up by 7 points. If we look at white voters, we see Trump won those by 17. Now he wins them by 21 points. And look at this. The exit polls have Biden winning here by 75 percentage points with black voters. He's up with blacks by just 30 points in this projection. He's only up with them by 30 percentage points. That is a 45% shift in favor of Joe Biden, according to this poll. That is a huge shift from Joe Biden to Donald Trump here. That would be massive. That would essentially mean that a lot of third-party candidates would be taking a lot of the vote. That basically means Biden would probably be getting around like 50% of the African-American vote, because I don't think Donald Trump's going to get around 30%. Hispanics, 33-point win for Joe Biden. Now Joe Biden wins those by 2 points. And if we look at the other vote, Donald Trump lost that group by 14 points last time. Now he's up by 6 points. So there is a huge shift towards Donald Trump with all demographics, not even just one demographic. He literally shifts. He improves. We could look at this with 18 to 29-year-old voters by 22 points. He improves with 30 to 44-year-olds by 18 points, 45 to 64 by literally 14 points, and he improves with the senior vote by just 3 percentage points. College-educated voters, Trump does 11 points better. With non-college, he does 9 points better. With men, he does basically 11 points better. With women, he's doing about, basically, if you look at this, he's doing about 6 points better or something like. No, it's about 8 points better. He's doing 8 points better with women. With white voters, he does slightly better, but with these demographics, these other non-white demographics, he's doing way better. And we actually have Donald Trump in our projection shifting whites to the right by less than these other groups. He gains more with African American, Hispanics, and other voters by way more than the white vote, because we suspect that the white vote is trending to the left nationally. However, since Biden is such an unpopular president, Donald Trump's going to gain with those voters as of right now. And so when you look at that, Donald Trump, according to this poll, is winning the same amount as last time, but he made gains in Colorado. He made gains in Illinois and New Jersey. He's made gains in every single battleground state. And if we actually look at my model and we see what a 7.5-point victory for Donald Trump would look like, Colorado is in the lean category. I actually have Colorado trending to the left more than this poll suggests. Delaware's a 6-point win, which is similar to, if we actually could pull it up right here, that's actually very similar to they're actually the same. My model and the forecast from New York Times basically have it the same. Illinois is a 5-point win in my model. Biden's winning it by 4 in the New York Times breakdown. Maine at large is a 2.7 percentage point victory in my forecast. Right now, the demographic breakdown here has him winning it by 1.2 percentage points. We see in Maryland, Biden wins that by 19.2%. I actually have Biden up 19.2, and right now the demographic breakdown has Biden up by 19.4. Massachusetts, I have him up 22 points. The demographic breakdown has him up 21.4 points. Minnesota, the demographic breakdown has him up by 4.3. I have him up 3.6. Nebraska's second. They have Trump up there by 8. I only have him up by 4 because I suspect that state's going to trend to the left by quite a bit. Nevada, I have him up 11 points. They only have him up by 9.8. New York, I only have Biden up by 7 here, actually. The demographic breakdown has him up by 10. Oregon by 5. I actually have Oregon under a 5-point victory in a 7.5 national popular vote margin, so that's pretty interesting. But if you look, Donald Trump, 9.5 in Wisconsin. The demographic breakdown has him up by 10.7. Virginia, 3.3 in the demographic breakdown. I have him winning it by 1.9%. So you see that the former president is doing really well, even in a 7.5-point victory like this poll would suggest. And what's interesting is that in the head-to-head matchup, he's up by 4. So if you apply that same error, he's up by 4.5. So even if he was up by 4.5 points, so let's say he was up 4.5, even if that was the case, Colorado would be a 6.5-point victory. You would see Maine at large be competitive. Minnesota would still go to Donald Trump. Nebraska's second would still go to Trump. New Hampshire would be competitive. New Mexico and Virginia would still be lean Democrat. You would see Pennsylvania 6.5-point victory, 6.5 in Wisconsin. So just across the board, you see the former president still do well, even in a head-to-head matchup. He still wins massively. Here you see 13.5%. In Florida, you see in the state of Texas, 14.8%. So Donald Trump, even in a head-to-head, still does very well. He still does extremely well. My forecast right now, we have Donald Trump up 6.8 percentage points, and we see he wins Wisconsin by 8.8, Pennsylvania by 8.8, he wins Nevada by 10.5, Michigan by 7.5, almost essentially Illinois by 5.7, Colorado by 4.2. So we see the breakdowns there, and we can essentially gather that Donald Trump is winning by a pretty big amount. But this poll, is really bad news for Joe Biden. This is right before the presidential debate, by the way. This is right before the debate, which is scheduled for tomorrow. And I'm very curious to see the New York Times / Siena College poll next month, because there is a good possibility that their demographic breakdown could possibly put the state of Colorado in Donald Trump's column, which would be absolutely insane to actually see that in the projection. And if we go to the state, if we go to the polling right now, we even see a liberal poll like Quinnipiac has Donald Trump up 6 points in the polling aggregate. I'm actually curious to see if they even updated their aggregate right now. No, they have not done it yet, but this is bad for the incumbent president. I mean, this poll spells really bad news for Joe Biden going into tomorrow's debate. If you guys did enjoy this analysis, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want more content just like this. And I will see you guys in the next video.